Hello, my extremely successful corporate leaders. Welcome back to day 4 of our 5-day challenge. We're talking transformative time strategies for modern leaders just like you. I'm getting straight into dynamic time mastery, okay? Each day we have built upon the last, and today is going to be no exception, okay? We are reaching the end of our journey here shortly, and I am just really excited to share today's insights with you. Today, we're going to be going over the 2 previous steps to be able to build the most effective time-saving schedule for you at work. So what did we do yesterday? We tackled assigning a rank to each thing you need to do each day, week, or month to truly give you the power over the unknown. Today, we're going to be building our own perfect dynamic time schedule, okay? These are the key strategies that once you've completed this challenge, you're going to be able to maintain momentum to continue to crush your time management goals. These secrets are about embedding these new skills into routines to make dynamic time mastery second nature, okay? This one truly is the biggest step. You might need to spend a little bit more than one day on this because the first time is usually the most difficult, okay? But it does get easier each time. So whether this is your first attempt at reshaping time management as a whole or just a next phase of your mastery, we're going to make sure you stay on track, focused, and increasingly efficient, okay? So enough chit chat, let's go ahead and get right into it. So you now will have noticed that after you sorted the second part, the third part has everything into a checklist for you. Basically, what we need to do is we now need to put our stuff into 2 different areas. We need to either put it into a calendar or onto a to-do list or a combination of the 2. There is a lot of technology or different things that we can be using on this. If you need any recommendations, happy to help with that. But let's get into the best way. So whether you use a paper calendar, Google Calendar, Microsoft Office, I don't really care. Go ahead and we need to tackle the calendar first. What actually needs to be blocked on a calendar to take your time. This is why we had your prioritization done 1 through 5. Start with the daily. Every single thing that needs to be done every single day, you're going to put in your calendar. And if you notice on here, you'll see a 1 dash whatever it's going to be. So we need to make the time for all the ones that's going to be appropriate. Okay. Then the next thing that we need to do is the 2s. If that thing needs to happen in this week specifically, every single week, we need to make sure that your time is going to be effective. And I talk about this a little bit more in the coaching, which you'll hear a bit about later, but there's an efficient way to block out your time to be able to waste time and transition of what we need to be doing. So try to think about the least amount of bouncing around that you can do. If you're in a startup and you're wearing multiple hats, try to structure your day into different sections of what you need to be doing. I'm not going to get too far into this. The biggest thing you need to do today is if you have a daily one, that better be on this schedule every single day with a 1 in front of it, okay? If you have a weekly 2, that needs to be every single on here, so on and so forth. If there is 3s, let's say you have 4 3s, okay? It needs to be split out evenly between this week and next week. I don't want 4 3s in 1 week and no 3s in the next week. That's not going to be efficient and allowing you to have different control of your time of what we'll get to a little bit later on, okay? You also may not work remotely like this person. This is the director of sales that I mentioned before. So make sure to be realistic in what we want to be doing here. Do you need to commute to work? Do you need to include 5-minute gaps to walk to somebody's office down the hallway? This director's schedule didn't used to look like this. I always like to kind of talk about this. This is what this director's calendar used to look like, okay? So we definitely want to have it more concrete, but let's talk about here. They were using 3 separate overlapping calendars. They did not have a true grasp of what was happening each day, each week, and each month. Not only were we able to fix this to put it back to that purple version, we also got Thursday AMs for them for personal time, designated decompress time because apparently work was flooding over and ruining family time. And now this director is able to spend time having dinner with their family every single day. So this is why it is important to take the time. And if you need help on a task like this, go ahead and contact me. Go ahead and reach out if we need elevated levels of support to help you get from a schedule like this one to a schedule like this one. That is what I'm here for, okay? But I'm sure you're all wondering, we got the 1s and the 2s and the 3s. What am I supposed to do with all these 4s and 5s? They're the bane of my existence. We need to take a time out and I need to do a little teaching. There is something called Parkinson's law. So for 4s and 5s, we need to be careful. Parkinson's law, if you're not familiar with it, is a theory that work will expand to fill the time to essentially allot for its completion. So let's say that something is going to take you only 15 minutes to do, but you don't really need to do it for a month. All of a sudden, that 15 minutes gets a lot bigger because mentally you're thinking about it, you're pushing it, and now suddenly it takes you a whole month to get a 15-minute job done. Okay? And this false deadline can cause procrastination, prompt people to fill in their time with trivial matters, these fake deadlines. And I like to think about this with the context of larger goals. Okay. So if we need to craft a timeline in days rather than weeks, or maybe you have a large project that can't be done very quickly, like maybe it is a 3-month project, the 3-month project might be a 5 because the due date is in 3 months. However, what are all of the milestones you need to do to get that project done in time? Those might be 1, 2s, and 3s. And that way, each thing is allotted and you could check off the timelines and you're not going to be stressed about it because all the stuff got thrown into it. So is it truly a 4 or is it a 1 that is recurring monthly? Okay. 5, that mean that thing can it literally couldn't happen this month and it doesn't impact anything. Okay. So keeping this in mind, take a chance to look back at your schedule. Is there anything that maybe you didn't properly allot for a 4 and a 5, or maybe you were doing a little bit of procrastination that all of us do? Make sure it's readjusted. Let's go here, but let's make sure it's going to be an actual 4 or a 5. Okay. Yes, perfect. So now, before we are able to truly get to the 4s and 5s, I like to talk about here, once again, leveraging tools and technologies to designate support time management. I'm talking digital calendars, project management apps, simple reminders, template tools. I have so many suggestions, okay? I have this to-do list that I made for that sales director, for one of his team members here specifically, but this might not be the best way that works for you. And there's a lot of stuff that can be automated that I'm happy to suggest. So don't get overwhelmed because I did this template with you on Google Sheets. You don't need to do it on Google Sheets, okay? We are 2024 and beyond. There's stuff for you. So we built out our schedule, right? And everything that needs to be on the calendar that needs to be there for 1, 2, and 3s. Then we still haven't put the 4s and 5s in. There is probably stuff that you need to do every single day that doesn't go on your calendar. So looking through a to-do list like this, notice how all of the 1s are organized first and then all of the 2s are next to be the most impactful for themselves in the company. How much time is it going to take for you to get through the daily to-do list each day? You need to make sure that there is enough time to do it on your to-do list, whether it's on the calendar or not. And if there's a 2, the same thing, there needs to be a slot for that week. 3 is appropriate. Only then are we able to put the 4s and the 5s in. And it's pretty easy once we've blocked it out and looked at it to where you could see, oh, I do have time to take on another project over here. I'm going to put it on this week. Or I don't have time for the 5s this month. I've got to push it out to next month. Okay. So do not put 4s and 5s on until you're able to put in these to-do lists. If you need help, please reach out. Okay. There was one thing that I'm going to go back a couple slides that you're going to see an EOD wrap up that I essentially make every single person implement. Over here, at the end, you will see one EOD wrap up at the end of the day, and at the end of the week, EOW, end of week wrap up. Okay, we're talking about this in day 5, but I want to get you a little chance to understand what's going on here. The end of day wrap up was what was completed for the day, what was not, what caused it. Does this change any of the numbers for the schedules of the upcoming week? Adjusting your upcoming days is necessary. This shouldn't take you very long. This is a 15, 20-minute review of your day. But by looking forward facing, you now have become proactive. So when you build out the perfect schedule and you show up and you have this new project that's been dumped on you, it doesn't matter. You now fully see what you need to get done that week, what can move, what can't move, what you need to be doing. And it makes it a lot easier to round up the troops for the same goal that you need to be doing because you can tell them how you're going to achieve it. Okay. So in this example, I showed you a calendar of the sales director that I mentioned on day 3, but that to-do list was actually one that I built out for the members of their team, okay? This that we're going through is an example of your schedule only. You're going to notice huge changes, so much time saved, but this is just one step, okay? In order to be a strong, impactful, and truly indispensable leader, you're going to need to have to understand these time-saving teachings to not only yourself, but your team, and then eventually even your boss, to prevent a lot of the problems that are coming onto your schedule in the first place. This is how I manage my lifestyle around the world while still running and helping multiple companies and coaching incredible people like you, because I'm able to do that, okay? So let's talk about the special offer. One more time, you can't be the only salmon swimming upstream and expect a change. It's going to feel exhausting and defeating. This is where leaders typically start to feel trapped. Their work-life balance starts going negative, and that's where the burnout creeps in. So if you don't know how to do all of this, you're not fully confident, or you want help on expanding into your team, a lot of the things that I mentioned, that's okay. This took me years of practice, okay? I have built up so many companies and went through so much coaching and personal development and spent thousands of dollars on learning on how to get here in the most efficient possible way, but that's why I made this. I want to help people make these changes without going through all the hard work and struggles that I do, okay? So let me talk a little bit about what you're gonna get tomorrow. Only for those who complete this challenge, if we're looking to master efficiency, lead yourself, your team, and your boss, okay? We are going to stop burnout in its tracks. We are going to be saving times in ways we've barely even thought of. I only accept 5 new clients per month because clearly I need to tailor this to you, okay? And so for those who are completing this and serious about mastering efficiency, ready to make that bigger start, I'm going to be offering my entire program at a 10% discount. And I'm also throwing in 2 free months of coaching after you complete the program at no additional cost, okay? We've seen so many corporate leaders come through here and see transformative change in their time management and leadership excellence as a whole. But enough about that. We want to make sure that just because you have adjusted one day, 1 week, even 1 month with these incredible things, we don't want this to only be a one-time thing. I want you to be able to prevent burnout in the long term, okay? I want to make sure that all of my clients walk away confident that they know what they're going to be doing for each next step of their schedule, and I'm going to make sure the same for you. So tomorrow, not only am I going to give out that goodie that I was talking about, but I'm also going to show you how to implement a dynamic review process so that we can be efficient month over month and continue to build on this incredible work-life harmony, okay? Tomorrow, we are going to be wrapping up the challenge with that. We're going to take the next steps. We're going to ensure the strategies stick. We're going to translate into lasting success. It is a day you don't want to miss, and I am so excited to have you there. Cannot wait to see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.